Europe was lost, and so were we. We had been retreating for days, harried by Messerschmitts and tanks, the Wehrmacht and the SS. By my reckoning, we had passed between and across the constantly fluid lines multiple times, as we tried to take the straightest route to Dunkirk through the chaos. Our truck was weary and full of holes, and we had enough gas to take us maybe half the way to our destination. After that, we would have to walk. There were no battle lines, no orders, and the links in the chain of command were stretching and breaking. There was just a desperate flight to the coast, the constant danger of ambush and skirmish, and whatever rearguard action could be cobbled together to delay the German onslaught and buy time for the evacuation. At one point, we came across two officers on the side of the road, a map stretched out across the bonnet of their car. "Which way?" we asked. "Fuck off and find your own map," they replied, before folding theirs up, jumping back into their car and roaring away. By this stage, there were 23 of us rattling around, using up the last of our precious fuel, improvising a route using back roads and country lanes. I had lost count of how many men had fallen to bullets, accidents, and in one case, madness. Our rations were gone, but the French farmers would stand by their fields of sugar cane with shotguns, warning us not to plunder their crops. We snuck into the fields under cover of dark and grabbed some anyway. It was that or start eating our boots. Morale was not high. So when our new radio operator, a beefy lad named Albert Bate, with thick black brill-creamed hair and a brummy twang, who had become separated from his platoon of Royal Engineers and was now tagging along with us, reported that we had been given orders to find and hold a bridge for as long as possible. Many of us thought it best just to pretend we hadn't received the message and keep moving. But Blaster wasn't going to stand for that. Captain Frederick Blaster Cast was a tall, thin man, wiry, athletic, and deceptively strong. His accent was cut-glass English, the product of a public school education that emphasized proper manners and rounded vowels. He commanded with the certainty of a man who had never been tested. I wondered when the facade would begin to crack. "What did you just say, Evans?" he said softly. Private Evans did not back down in the face of our commanding officer's quietly measured menace. "I said, do we have to, sir? There aren't enough of us to defend a sandcastle. We wouldn't last 5 minutes trying to defend a bridge." Blaster's face was impassive, but he didn't blink as he stared down at the young private, who had just openly suggested desertion in the face of the enemy. "I will pretend, Private Evans, that you never said that," he said, a second after the long silence had moved from awkward to threatening. Evans stood his ground a moment longer, then his shoulders slumped. "Yes, sir," he muttered. "Thank you, sir." We were parked on a small wooded lane off the road we had been traveling, and we stood around the truck stretching our legs and rubbing our sore asses. There was hardly any suspension left on the vehicle, and we had been bouncing up and down for hours on old roads and dirt tracks, crammed into the truck like cattle on the way to slaughter. One by one, we all snuck off into the cool, shaded woods to relieve our bladders against trees. "Bait!" barked the captain, turning away from Evans, taking a map out of his breast pocket and opening it in front of him. "Sir? Where exactly is this bridge again?" "Brassy, sir." Blaster peered at the map, squinting for 3 long minutes before he located it. "By my best guess," he said eventually, "we are about 10 miles away. We can be there within the hour." He turned and handed the map to me. "You can navigate, Fairburn. Give Private Evans here a rest."